Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Expansive CEO Podcast. I am your host, Hannah Chapman, and today is special. And I know I say that a lot. And sometimes I also say, no, but really this time. And also, but seriously, really this time. My dear, dear friend, Lindsey Bonadonna is here again. And this is the second episode we've recorded together. And you have to go back. You can listen to this one first, but then you have to go back and listen to episode 32. So, like, go way back in the archive, all the way back to episode 32 to hear about the like what has shifted, what has changed, what has grown, and what's the same throughout this whole process that Lindsay has been through
Yes.
with creating B, which is so amazing. So, little tiny bio. Lindsay Bonadonna, my beautiful, beautiful friend, is an optimist, an encourager, an IIN health coach, and the owner of B, just BE, period, a company that is radically changing the status quo through grab and go healthy foods that, one, actually taste good, and smoothies and mindful experiences, all made easy, and help busy AF humans to take better care of their whole selves.
Yes.
Lindsay, I'm so, so happy to have you. And I cannot wait to just like keep jamming on the conversation we already should have been recording. So tell
I
us,
know. Yes.
tell us
I,
what's
c-
up in your world.
I am so excited to go back and listen to that episode because when we recorded it, it was just about 2 weeks before B opened. And we talked about what it's like to build a business with intentionality and intuition. And I'm curious to listen to it and just see like how I've grown, like what's changed, what hasn't. I have a feeling a lot hasn't changed because I feel like in this process, I've stayed really true to many things that I set out to do. But like I think two of the most important things that I wanted to experiment with as an entrepreneur with B was, can I build a successful business in a capitalist society by following my intuition and being very particular about that, like very unapologetic about it. And then the second thing is, can I build a successful business in a capitalist society by truly making the choice to prioritize people and as well as prioritize myself over the to-do lists? And it is challenging at times. It is very, very challenging, but I just keep on coming back to how grateful I am to be able to be in a place in my life where I can understand the difference of when something feels like a hell yes versus a hell no, and how much stronger that's gotten over the last 2 years. And then also just being given opportunities uh, to really, I hate to say the word test or challenge, but to really allow me to like be like, okay, this is what I said I'm going to do. So this is what I'm going to do in this situation. And I'm going to prioritize the people and just like trust that it all is going to work out, that the to-dos will get done. And to be honest with you, as I reflect back on these last 2 years, 100% prioritizing the people in front of me, whether it's a guest that comes in and having a conversation or it's a teammate. I could get better at prioritizing myself.
Okay.
Always an
Areas
evolution
for
there,
growth.
yes. Um, but everything still gets done. It all still gets done. And I do have boundaries around when I shut it off for the day, like I'm not working 24/7 or anything like that. So it's uncomfortable still at times. And it also brings up just my ultimate wish of, can the currency instead of money be good vibes and love? Because if like my utility companies and my landlord started accepting that, I would be like, let's go.
Right? You are so abundant.
Yes, I'm like, I am endlessly abundant. Like, who else needs good vibes and love? Because I got you. But unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills. So that's where it can feel scary at times, of like, if I make this decision to change potential revenue coming in, is it going to come back to me double, triple over? And yeah, I don't know. It's going in the right direction. I mean, Hannah, you've been with me in a professional capacity as like a partner, as a coach. You've been here with me as a tenant. You've been here with me through many tears and questioning of myself. So it's like it's all heading in the right direction. And I keep on reminding myself too that it is a typical situation. Most businesses like the one that I've created are like not profitable in like the first 3 to 5 years. So I'm like, okay, we're making the climb, that we're going in the right direction so we can keep going. But yeah, it's hard to not have those times too where it's you get in your head a little bit and you don't want to give up. It's not like oh, this is horrible, it's not working out. It's just more of like okay, here's how do we figure this out? What do we want to do here? Is there a place where we need to tweak? And I think that's the era that I'm entering into right now in a more significant way of like, okay, things are growing, things are heading in the right direction, but how can I get smarter as a business operator to take time to make the tweaks that need to happen to make the business run more efficiently or more profitable without losing sight of, what my mission is personally as an entrepreneur. So yeah, so that's what's going on there.
Oh my gosh. Well, and to elaborate on, like what we've worked on together over the last 2 years also, I mean, there have been many times where it's like, hey, can we look at the financials together just so, like have
Yeah.
another set of eyes. Like I'm not confident talking to these other people about it. Can we talk? And
Yes.
um what I want to say from that perspective, from the financial perspective, and from me being able to like drop in. I'm not the CFO. I'm not like involved in the day to day of B, but even just from that 30,000 foot view of the financials, and then being able to sit with you and talk about what's coming up, it's so powerful to see your intuition work and
Mhm.
how you know exactly what the business needs and you know how it's going too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And all it would take from me were these like gentle reminders of, hey, look at this area. Like, do you notice how well
Yes.
this is going? And look over here. Do you see how well this is going? And we build from those places versus like you're kind of like you were saying, like there's there are challenges, there are things that are hard.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's very typical in any business. But if you're just constantly harping on the things that are hard and don't feel like they're working, you just get more of that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think too, as I think about where I'm at right now and the things that are feeling hard, it has to do with I am good at delegating. But as a solo entrepreneur in this adventure, I find myself not having, I don't know, it's interesting because I it's hard to find time to do the things like this is what I'm struggling with, to do the things that I know are going to move the needle that require quite a bit of work on top of like everything that's like running the day to day of things. But what I am recognizing right now is that if I don't just not drop everything else, but I need to stop going for the really low hanging easy fruit that's like, yay, look at I made this fun this week. Yippee. And really and really dive into like, okay, I know that we need to take a look at pricing of things, but that's not fun to do. It's not fun to like look at everything. But I recognize too that if I do not do that, then I'm going to impact the positive ripple that this company is here to do in the first place, which is to help encourage people to slow down and be curious and nourish their whole selves in a way that allows them to have more energy and capacity to go out and create their own unique ripples in the world. So that's something that I've really been thinking about of like, okay, Lindsay, like you have to do these things or else it's going to get, and I need to be proactive because it's not at a point where it's like, oh my God, I have to do this right now. I have to be proactive about it now to ensure that the health of the company is there to continue spreading the ripple. And it's hard. I mean, it's just with our own well-being, right? Like, how often do we wait for a health crisis to happen to do something different versus being like, I think I'm going to be proactive about this because it's not, I feel like it's not how we're wired in our society. So yeah, that's something that I've been kind of looking at, not struggling with, but just kind of being like getting more serious about like I have this window, this opportunity. I'm feeling it in my intuition that this is where I need to focus my time.
Mhm.
So I need to do it, even though it's maybe not the most thrilling thing. But I know once I start doing it, I'll be like, oh, look at this. I feel it's great. You know, it's like,
Can
but
I,
getting there is hard.
yes, can I pull on a little thread for you?
Yeah.
You said being a solopreneur is hard, and that's interesting. And I'm gonna tie it back a little bit to what you've experienced
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
in building restaurant. A solopreneur has no employees, my dear.
Oh, so it's, oh, yeah. Yes. So,
You
like a,
you are running a business with
yes.
employees.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, you're doing something bigger.
Yeah. Wild. I don't think it's so interesting too because I have such an incredible team. Like to think back on my previous entrepreneurial experience with my ex, that was such an isolating experience for me because it was a constant feeling. A, it wasn't mine, right? And there was a vision there that I wanted to see come to life, um, potentially more than my ex, potentially not, or like in some kind of different way. But I think about the times where I was just like left.
Mm.
And I think about how far in this adventure, what piece I have of like, I had something happen personally a few weeks ago where my mom took a fall and Katie was there, team was there without question. I'm just like, yep, okay, go handle that. And it's just like, oh yeah, it is cool. We are okay. It is all good.
Yeah, and that was exactly the spot that I was going to navigate to was that,
Mm,
with the previous brewery. So just to give a little bit of context, you have experience in the restaurant space, right? This is like
yeah,
B is your second go round here. This is not the
which is
first.
wild.
It is
Yes, it
wild.
is.
But also in that context, you had other C-suite, you had investors that you were dealing with, and so it feels like that. It does feel very different. Like B feels different because you are you're funding this venture, right? Like this is
Yes,
you are the head honcho. There's no one else telling you what to do. There's no other
yeah.
investors to, like um really to report
Influence. Yeah,
to. Yeah.
yeah,
And so that I can fully understand that feeling of like, oh, it's on me, right? There
hmm
is that where with, the previous brewery, you were having to report to others.
yes,
Um, but yeah, I mean, the structure that you're creating with B feels here's how like here's how it feels to me. It feels more like bottom up,
yes,
inclusive,
yes,
right? It's like
100%.
it's this organism that's like, no, it's intentionally been planted and nurtured and we're growing it
Yes,
versus infusing, cash from just the top and like
yes, yeah,
that's what's coming up for me. That's the analogy.
yeah. No, that is very much what it feels like. And it's interesting to me too, because it's cool to hear people when they come in for the first time. And it's not like just a once in a while thing. It's like a frequent thing where people come in and they're just like, wow, it really feels different in here. Or it smells so good in here. Or I walk in and I just feel relaxed. Or like, and it makes me feel so proud because I am not the only one carrying that. Like the entire team is in a place where they are kind and they are loving and they are helpful and they are accepting. So the whole building is like infused with this vibe that we all get to contribute to. And I have that expectation, for the team of like, and Katie has come beside me in such a beautiful way as our culinary creative director, our executive chef of like being that same person too. I mean, everything that she does is infused with love and intentionality, and the way that she meets the team with kindness, and the way that we meet each other with kindness, and the open. I mean, it's so cool. We've come such a far way. I mean, we were like instant best friends when we first met. But I think about how we've both leaned into being very vulnerable with each other, and to the point now where we were talking about how like we're like a super functional like married couple. Like we
So good.
communicate really well. If like one of us is kind of off, we'll like come back and be like 100% not you. Like this is where I'm at in my cycle. This is how I'm feeling. I'm cool, but I'm like low energy. So just like don't take it personally. But to have that and then to see the team communicate with each other in that way, and for Katie and I to be able to communicate to them, like it's cool. And everyone that's ever worked here has brought something that has helped shape B in a really beautiful way that, I mean, B would not be what it is if it was just me running it. So it's cool to have that. I appreciate that because yeah, it is. I feel like it's a like a vase, right? Like I think about like the vessel in that beautiful art that you have, right? And it's like the seeds are there and everybody's like adding nutrients and soil and it's like growing and into this really beautiful, unique thing. It's crazy. I still can't believe it.
I
Like,
know.
what?
And you are officially more than 2 years in because it was what, June, you said June 29th,
June 29th. Yep.
2023. And we're recording this on July 16th of 2025. So
Wild.
I am and for context for listeners as well, I held space in literally in the office. If you're watching on YouTube, the office that Lindsay's in right now, I was up
Yes.
there like Wednesdays were my day. Um, and it was such a beautiful space to go to and get to, like I'm mainly work from home, but just to be able to get out of the house, be in a different area, different inspiration, um, and just seeing it grow. And again, like being able to be part of that support system for you
Mm.
in different ways and to remind you kind of what it feels like usually is like just remind you of who you are,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
how magical you are, how capable you are. Um, and I feel like we all need that.
Yes. There is such power and in just letting people know. And you're bringing up a memory for me. I remember at the brewery when I had like the big CEO title and sick AF. And I came across a picture the other day from that time, and it doesn't even look like me. I look a like a shell, like of someone who is trying to be something that she knows that she isn't. And the tiredness, I mean, it's just like it was wild. It was wild to look at that picture. But I remember sitting at my desk and thinking, it would be so cool if I could make a living just telling people that they got this and that everything's going to be okay and that they're amazing, and helping them to know that they are important and worthy of investing in. And like, look how it manifested. But to just be present with someone when they come in, and Hannah, like, it's wild to me the things that people, strangers, come in and share with me. or the people that come in and are having a tough day and just come in to get a hug. Like, how cool. Or people that come in and just come to hug me. Like, I'm like, this is so cool.
Can I
It's so
remind you of
cool.
something else too?
Yeah.
So human design wise, we've done some human design work
Oh,
together,
yes.
right? So your
So
sacral
cool.
your sacral authority, um, which is the hell yes or hell no, right? Like
Yes.
that is your compass. Like where is your hell yes? And that was another piece of like when we're talking about financials and
Yeah.
what feels like the right thing, what's the next step? It's like where is your hell yes? For a while, it's like catering, doing these events, like and
Yes.
look what
Yeah.
that led to following that hell yes of like I know this is going to be the right thing,
Yes.
that intuitive nudge. The other piece of your design is that your incarnation cross, which is your life theme in this incarnation, is
This
the
blew my mind, people. I almost like died when I read
yes,
it. I was like, what?
yes, it's the right angle cross of the vessel of love. You're here to learn how to love yourself so deeply and so fully and so expansively. That's what the right angle means. It's inter. So you learn how to love yourself and be love within yourself, and that radiates out so that other people feel that. And so what you're
Yeah.
literally describing is people like being like moth to a flame to
Yes.
Lindsay's vessel of love because
It's
that's who you
amazing.
are.
And it's so, I know we were talking about this before, it's really interesting because I do a weekly newsletter now. I've been doing it for a few months and I really enjoy it. And I just kind of like sit before I write it and I'm like, what needs to be said? Like what's on my mind? And I recognize being like this vessel of love and somebody that's just inclined to be optimistic. I see everything. Um, but I just choose, it's like easier for me to believe that everything works out, nothing is permanent, and that if something is coming across that is feeling challenging to me, I'm not ever given anything that I can't handle. But I do need to discern if I am pushing because it's not in alignment at the time or with my intuition, or if it's just like a challenging time in life. But people, I think, at times it's so interesting. I had somebody tell me recently, and it's somebody that like has known me for a few years, but they said that I was toxically positive. And Hannah, it like crushed me because like it crushed me for a second because I'm like, I, I don't know what you want me like this is like what I am. So if I make you uncomfortable, it is what it is. I like don't know how else to be. But it got me thinking about how people may see me and be like, Lindsay's always happy, Lindsay's always joyful, Lindsay's always happy-go-lucky. So I've decided in my newsletter, in fact, just this last week, of sharing, like, y'all, I am stressed and I am anxious. I am okay, but I'm having these extreme feelings of holding a lot and a lot of stress and anxiety. And then also, I'm like, grateful and joyful and like pretty content. And it's like holding all of these things um, has been really interesting, especially I think in an entrepreneurial and in a leadership role and as somebody that people look towards. But I felt like it was important for more people to understand the nuances of being a human and that even that when we authentically present a certain way, there's still a lot going on behind the scenes and the hope that more people will be like, yeah, I'm okay and like not okay at the same time, or to understand that it's possible to experience all these feelings at one time and that it's totally okay. Um, I can't remember where I was tying that back to, but that's just what came up. So there we go.
Yes, no, it's
But
so It's so important. It's such a good topic. And that was, I wanted to get
Yeah,
there
I'm like,
also. So you brought it straight up. Before we started recording, you were sharing a little bit of that holding so much, right? Holding, the way that you said it before was holding like negative and positive emotions,
hmm
or what we deem as negative and
yes,
positive emotions, right? Because they're just emotions. Um, but you're holding the stress and anxiety, but then also on this other side, like very aware of the gratitude and the joy and the contentment, right?
yes,
Very aware of all the beautiful things that are happening in your life, while also being aware of this
yes,
thing is like, whew, this is a lot. This is a lot to deal with right
yes,
now.
yes. I think it's really interesting too. There's a few things that just came up is as I think about what growth looks like over these last couple years in this bit, like as a human, as an entrepreneur in this business, is this shift to be able to see myself, like to observe, like to,
Mhm.
I have this part of me that now will become this like kind observer of what I'm experiencing and just is like, hey, is this the truth? Are we really going to close our doors tomorrow? Like, are things there? Is that where we are at? And then, other kind things is like, okay, we have 100% been here before. You're actually reacting in a different way than you have previously. So, yay, growth. But also, you're not going to feel like this forever. So, what things can we go do right now that work to get you more grounded to like get through this time more whole? And also just to be able to communicate and say out loud, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I'm okay, but I'm like super stressed because all this stuff is going on. In a hope to normalize that it's complex just in general to be a human. Yeah, it's a very interesting time, but I feel excited to be like, because it's been my experience too, that every challenging time I like level up in some way. So I try to get myself like my kind observer self that kind of like reflects back to me. I try to get myself like hype of like, all right, but where are we going to be when this season is over? Like, what are we going to have learned? What are we going to do differently next time? And also really detaching myself away from the definition of what success looks like and just taking it day by day, having a plan, like having a place of wanting to go. It's like, yes, I want to get to break even and I want to be profitable because that will allow us to expand our ripple even more. But also knowing too that will unfold when it's meant to, as long as I'm always taking aligned steps forward and everything just flows.
Mm. The thing that came up for me, and the moment you talked about that earlier, was that is the definition of how you expand your capacity to receive.
Mm,
That's
mm,
that's what that literally feels like, is, oh, I can see and process and work through these challenging circumstances and still hold joy and optimism
yes,
at the same time.
yes,
So literally it's stretching your internal space, your
yeah.
capacity to then, like, if you can hold the hard with the good, then that literally allows you to receive more. And the bigger
Yeah.
your capacity is to hold those emotions, the way I've understood it for myself in the past is that, like, the more I can hold space for my own deep emotions
Mm,
without running
hmm
away from them, without numbing them,
Yes.
without, that is the key to then, one, being able to hold space for others,
hmm hmm
two, being able to, like, the deeper you can go down, the higher you can go up as well.
That makes complete sense. And actually, you just put something together for me too, because in this last cycle of things feeling like a lot, and holding all the opposites. Something that I very intentionally decided to do was because I was crying a lot out of nowhere. Like
Hmm.
I would just, but I was like, you know what? If I feel it coming up, I am just going to experience it and then see what happens from there because I know that holding it in doesn't make sense. But yeah, I would be driving, a song would come on, I'm crying. I'd be laying in bed at night, I'm crying, I'm here doing something, and I just start crying, and I'm just like, all right, this is what it is. But it's interesting to think of it too, of like the deeper that you can go, the higher that you can also go, and that you can experience that full range on a particular day too. And that there's nothing quote unquote wrong with that. Like that is a sign of like nervous system balance and resilience and like moving around from here to there, and that we can experience like it doesn't have to be so binary of like today was a good day and this is it and I'm going to hold on to this day so hard so it happens again. Or this is a horrible day and all of that. It's like, what if it's just like a day and we experience these things, and then like there's a next day and we experiencing these things, and just taking the pressure off of ourselves and trying to look at it more from like a we're living an entire life.
Hmm.
So if over our entire life we feel like it's aligned, then like that's really all we can do, you know?
Yes. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're meant to, as
Yes.
humans, we're meant to experience this range of emotion. And that's where, being um, the CEO, being someone who is in a leadership position, someone who others look to for guidance and direction, the more that you are able to experience that full range of emotions and be okay,
Yes.
that is where like powerful, powerful leadership, like um, deeply integrated, deeply whole
Yes.
leadership comes from, so that you can then hold space for your team, create the exactly what you're doing, create the environment where
Yes.
that type of emotional intelligence can thrive, and it brings people
Yes.
in. It magnetizes people to you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's interesting too because I just think about how much the narrative of what it means to be a leader or what it means to be an entrepreneur that we're like taught in our society is so different and opposite of that, right? It's like, no, you have to be like buttoned up all the time and you have to like put on this strong face. And again, it's like just again another experiment of like, well, what does it look like to invite more vulnerability in for myself? And I do believe I saw this quote somewhere the other day that talked about how right now, especially, is not a time to shrink away in fear. It's not a time for us to hide our most authentic selves. It is a time for us to step forward in authenticity so that we can help create more understanding of what it means to be a human and living this human experience. And the only way that we can create those opportunities for more understanding and more, yeah, I don't like the word normal, but I can't think of a different word right now. But like by us being our most authentic selves, we allow for the normalization of difference
Yeah.
because we are all different. We're not meant to, it's not one size fits all. We're not all meant to look the same, act the same, anything like that. So, and that gets me thinking too about what we were just saying of like just being your most authentic self, however you show up and wherever you show up is not like, it's not a selfish thing. It's one of the most selfless things that we can do because it invites others to do the same and to be more vulnerable. And that that to me is an action that can have a ripple effect that eventually, could change the world. I also recognize too that I am 100% a person of privilege. And to me, and this is part of why B is here too, is that if we are someone that has the advantage and privilege to care for ourselves, to practice self-care, to take time to get to know ourselves, it is a very important time to do so, so that we have more energy and capacity and authenticity to come beside, come below, come wherever we need to be to help support others in the way that they need to be supported too. And I think that when we get into our heads about, which is natural too, right? Because it's vulnerable to be authentic. But when we get in our heads and we fall into this narrative of like, I have to work all the time, I have to do this, I have to shuffle this, and we ignore ourselves, we're just perpetuating this falsehood that we all have to be the same and we all have to be productive and we all have to do all these things. Like we need to slow down, deepen our care and love for ourselves so that because I feel like too, Hannah, and I'm curious if you feel this way, I think we can only love others to the level that we can love ourselves. I think about, like in one of the commandments is like, love thy neighbor like you would love yourself. And I think about that in these modern times. And I'm like, there are a lot of people, myself included, for like the majority of my life, did not love myself.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to love my neighbor if I don't even love myself? Like we can't do it. So sorry, that was a little bit of a ramble, but I think it all made
Yes.
sense. I know.
Well, I mean, it like what you're building, right? Like you're building a space for people to come and be,
Hmm.
right? That's
Hmm.
literally the purpose of like, come be all of who you are, come be nourished, come just sit still and play a game, or, like
Yeah.
you're not making, you have created a space where people can come and relax and bring their kids and right. I mean, it's like they can have
Hmm.
beautiful conversations or sit by themselves and just, contemplate and have a really good smoothie bowl, right? Like
Yes.
you have created this space. Um, and I agree with you that there is we can only love others the way that we have learned to love ourselves. And
Hmm.
so if you've only ever learned to like you're only worthy of love if
Mm.
there's any messaging that you received as a child that you imprinted
Mm.
on, I'm only worthy of love if I get good enough grades, if I, make
Hmm.
enough money, if I
Look a certain way.
look a certain way, act a certain way, then if that's the only way, like if I only when I am these things am I allowed to love myself,
Hmm.
that's exactly what you project onto others.
Hmm.
Right. And so
Hmm.
that's where we see you know, like your kids aren't good enough, your spouse isn't good enough, your friends, aren't good enough. You're like nothing in the world is worthy of love unless it is fitting, your criteria of this is how
Yeah.
I know I'm okay to be loved, and you're not meeting that standard either, so you don't get to be loved either.
Yes. Yes. And it's such a complicated, there's so many things about being a human that, I sometimes am just like, that's like the weirdest thing. Like, how could it ever be hard for the one person that I am the only one I spend my whole entire life with? How could it ever be hard for me to love myself? How could it ever be hard for me to know who I am and know myself deeply? But it is. It's really hard because of that conditioning. And, for me, it was, um, I'm a huge fan of EMDR therapy, and I've been doing that for, well, a couple of years. I started right before B opened because I recognized that like these things kept on coming up and these anxieties, and I didn't feel like talking it through was what I needed. But EMDR therapy has been transformative because part of the work that I've been doing has been I am loved regardless,
Mhm.
you know? And that is the actual truth. We are all loved regardless. And it sucks that the narrative that we are pushed into from being a child, and the generational narrative that we become a part of when we're born, that trumps the truth and that it can take years to understand that or to see it or to question it. But I am seeing more and more people, and Hannah, I'm curious if you are too, more and more people, I'd say around like our age. I'm 44 at the time of this recording, just really being like, wait a second. It's like light bulbs are turning on, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait, actually, I think I am loved still when I present myself in the most authentic way, or I am loved when I take this chance that feels aligned. Like it's not, we can convince ourselves that it's life or death. Um, but it's really cool when we can find the strength and the support to just like do it and then take time to see, like, oh, look, I am still loved. Look at people. I am still loved by the people that matter. And to also understand that no one is for everyone.
Right.
And that's cool, man. Like, we don't have to spend our lives trying to convince people that ultimately are not, in a business sense, our target demographic, right?
Yep.
Or don't understand, or are mean to us, or make us feel less than, whether it's personally or in business. Like, cool. Then that's okay. Then actually, maybe I'm doing a really great job at being very precise at who I'm speaking to. Because if you don't understand it, then that's okay. Maybe one day you will, because it's like, we want to love you. But if you're not ready for that, like, that's cool too. We're all on our own journey.
Yes. Yeah, I I'm continuously reminded of exactly what you just said, that more and more people are waking up to the fact that they like you can feel good. You can feel good about yourself. Like you're allowed to love yourself, and that is actually the thing that will help propel you forward in a more aligned way is if
Yes.
you love and honor yourself enough to
Yes.
say, where these things don't feel good. I think that's a lot of it too. That was my experience. I've seen that over and over again, that people tend to
Yeah.
realize what they don't want first.
Yes.
Right. And so when
Yes.
when it's like the thing that
Mm.
whether it's at work, at home, relationships, all of these different aspects of our lives, when we start to realize what we're not available for,
Hmm.
that's like the first fundamental stage of growth.
Yes. 100%. And I think too, it's like when we start to realize that and we take steps to kind of crowd it out, we create space for things that are more aligned to us and more authentic to us to come in. But that can't happen
Yeah.
when we're like when our vessel is filled up with stuff that doesn't feel aligned, but we come into a place of fear of like the what ifs, of
Right.
like, what if I make this change? Or what if I do this? Or like, what's the outcome? And I'm in a place where I can say this now, but I've definitely, I revisit it sometimes, but coming from that place of fear, it's really hard because I now know what's on the other side of making really scary decisions. And I get excited when I was doing one-on-one coaching. And I have someone in my life personally right now that's uh, going through some really big awarenesses. And it's so cool because I've seen it happen so many times across so many different people where I'm like, I know this does not feel good right now, but
You're
like,
like, I'm trying not to be excited.
yes, but I am so excited for you because I know it's on the other side. It's going to be so great. So just hang in there.
Hmm. Oh my gosh, yes, I can identify with that so strongly. Having like I work with a lot of clients that
Yes.
go through hard stuff and who are in the middle of, and like my job is to hold that tender supportive space for them to
Hmm.
have their own realization about it. Um,
Yes. Yes.
but yeah, to be like to see it, to right, to be on enough on the outside of it because we're not the ones experiencing it, right? But to be enough on the outside of it to see like, oh, I see so much opportunity. Like I can't
Yes.
wait. I can't wait for you to see it too after you process these emotions.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
In
Process.
your own time.
We're
Yes.
not bypassing, but and then to also walk with them on the other side of, big life changes, whether it's leaving a company or leaving a relationship or,
Mm.
whatever that is just like oh my gosh, to see someone open up and feel that alignment, feel joy, feel like truly like feel inner peace
Yes. Yeah. And
is mm,
it's wild. I never thought that, and I know I shared this before, like, your words of like holding like, this or better. And my other friend sharing recently of like, they keep on asking the universe, like, show me how good it can be, show me how good can be. And I can say, I didn't realize that life could feel this way. And, it is I think it's important to reflect back and take time to like think about like growth and even like little tiny steps and everything. But the the opportunity for inner peace and alignment is possible, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's like one little tiny, I mean, it's like the silliest thing of like, if you're going to in the morning. It's just like, you know what? It feels most aligned to brush my teeth first. So I am going to brush my teeth first, or it feels most aligned to take my shower first. Like there's so many different areas in our life that we can practice living in a more aligned way that doesn't involve like totally blowing up your entire current situation, but to start to get confidence in doing that. Or, I even think in silly ways, it's like you need to buy a water bottle and there's a water bottle, you slow down and you're like, what water bottle is calling to me? And you buy that one, or it's like, oh, this makes me happy. I'm going to go do this thing, or even if a particular food looks really good, it's like, ooh, I really want that. Like, it's interesting because I think sometimes too, when we talk about living in alignment or where you and I happen to be in our journeys right now, for someone that is newer hearing this and being like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to do it. It's like, that's how you do it. It's tiny little steps of making choices that feel most aligned for you and just like knowing the awareness of wanting to live a more aligned life or have a more aligned business will unfold when you hold that intention and then you do little things to get there. And it just like happens. I never would have thought that I would have a brick and mortar shop, but all I did was I kept on making the choices that felt most aligned and trusting that it would all work out. And here it is. Weird.
yeah, I
It's
know.
weird and wild.
I love it. And tell me, I would love for you to describe, um, also for, posterity, because we'll of course do this again, uh,
Yes, please.
so that we can like bookmark it. What is that? Like, I didn't know life could feel like this. What is that
Mm,
feeling?
yeah. Ooh. Let's see if I could find words. I think right now in this moment, I think ultimately it's a combination of surrendering and trusting that everything is always working out in my greatest good. So I worry and I stress and I definitely get anxious and I freak out. But now, even in those moments, I'm able to be like, there's a part of me that is able to be like, and Lindsay, the more that you can surrender right now, the more that you trust that everything's going to work out for your greatest good, like that's all you have to do. So it feels like a combination of like, in my body at least, like peace and excitement, whatever those two things are together. There's not a cute way to combine them. I was just trying to think in my mind, is like, is there a way to combine those two words? There really isn't, but it's like a groundedness, a settledness, and then also, and it's interesting because anxiety and excitement internally is like the same hormone situation. So it's kind
Right.
of, if you can make a choice, you can just be like, oh, am I really excited about this? Um, but yeah, it's like it's a settledness, a confidence, and then also a looking forward to, ooh, like what's going to happen next, and like
Yeah.
a true excitement for that unfolding.
Mm.
Yeah. What does it feel like to you?
It feels like where I feel, or my kind of emotional imprint right now in this moment in this time in my life, it feels, oh gosh, very similar. Actually, like that groundedness,
Hmm.
that trust that everything's going to be okay, and that if something
Hmm.
is hard, I can I can figure it out. I can my partner and I can figure it out together. My family and I, right? Like we've got this. There's definitely a sense of
Hmm.
like I've got this, we've got this, and mm, I mean, I think our inner children are very similar in this way
Hmm.
of like excitement. Like it's
Yeah.
where is, what's exciting me next? And I think this is the part that's so magical to me is that I get to I
Mm.
get to follow
Yes.
my excitement. I am
Yes.
consistently um just coming back to gratitude for like all the work, right? I'm
Hmm.
40 as of this record. Oh, it's actually a month till my birthday right now. I'll be 41 in 1 month. Um, but it's been work. It has been,
Yeah.
through fire, through scary pieces, through really, really tough emotional financial times. Like we have walked
Hmm.
through a lot of different stuff. And to be here now at 40 and to feel like I hold me, right? I can hold
Mm.
my emotions, I can hold myself. And my husband also is amazing and he can also hold that space for me now. We have learned that. That's a huge up level.
Hmm. Hmm.
And like we've got this. We've done so many things before. We're good. We've got this. And here's the vision for the future. Here's the excitement.
Yes.
Here's what like, and to your point, this or something better, right? Like this
Hmm.
in the next,
Hmm.
and right now, we would love to have a cabin up north. We just moved
Mm.
back to Arizona. It's very hot in Phoenix. Our house is beautiful, love it. And we would
Yes.
love, love, love to have a house in Flagstaff. And so
Yeah.
that's like the next, like this or something better. What is that?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I get to be like excited about it and see what
Yes.
happens and see how that comes to pass, right? Like, I don't know. That's the adventure
Yes.
part.
You know what else came up for me too is like it feels like ultimate presence. Like
Yes.
as we're talking right now, I think that's the other thing too is being able to be fully present with whatever is right in front of you is really hard.
Yes.
I feel like I've been suffering And it definitely feels like suffering at times. So I'm getting curious about like what it looks like to evolve from the suffering of like having my attention pulled in so many different directions. And but this place in my life like feels like presence. And when I am most aligned, it's like, oh, I am just here. I have nothing to worry about other than where my feet are right now and the one thing that I am doing in front of me and how powerful that is. And I think that's the other piece. So it's like presence, groundedness, and excitement for whatever is next. And knowing that it will all unfold. I think too, the release of pressure of having to worry about what's could happen next and just know that like I have enough data now over the last couple years, personally and professionally, that it all just like works out. So instead of when I find myself freaking out about what's happening like 10 years from now, I just am like, hey, that like gentle, kind, higher self of mine is just like, hey, let's come right back here to this time because we have zero idea what's going to happen 10 years in the future, let alone tomorrow.
Yeah.
So let's just be present right here because we know that's where we feel best. And I think that too is in my no, that was in some Enneagram work that I did. Like I am a present oriented human. So I am
Mhm.
best when I am just here in the present. It's
Mm.
so cool how those different ways that we can deepen our understanding for ourselves help us align even more.
Yes. Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's also hilarious because that is echoed in your human design as well, for sure.
Yeah. So
Of
cool.
course.
I don't
Of
know.
course. And final thought is that, what you said earlier in the conversation of, it takes a lot of times 3 to 5 years for a
Mm,
business like you are creating to be profitable. And I just want to remind you that you are so freaking close. Within
yeah.
like just over 2 years, you were like right there with,
It's so, it's, oh, what were you going to say?
well, just with more opportunity, right? Like with other things, like
Yeah.
other initiatives that you've been working on, which I want you to tell people about too, so they know how they can interact with me. But like these
Yes.
different things that you're doing, like they're freaking working. They're working and creating that revenue that is getting you like you're so close. And that's so fast. Even though sometimes 2 years feels like a long time in the day to day, like,
Yes. I know it's so funny too, because I think about we had an incredible event here, uh, gosh, over a year ago now, where Centrifuge, which is a local funding opportunity for different entrepreneurs, they were doing these supper clubs at different restaurants, and they chose us as one. So it was a bunch of female identifying entrepreneurs, and the topic was funding, like funding your business, different ways to do it, asking questions. And I remember I raised my hand at one point, like knowing the answer in my gut, but I just needed somebody that I perceive as more knowledgeable as me than me in this area to just say like yes. And I feel like you said this too. And I was like, so I just want to make sure I understand so I know that I'm doing this right. Basically, my belief in my business is so strong that I'm just gonna like accumulate a crap load of debt for like a few years in the hopes that it's all gonna work out. And she was like, correct. And I was like, well, I am doing that correctly then. Good job, Lindsay. Here we are.
you got it.
But it's wild. It's wild though to think about that your belief. And I think about the two experiences that I've had as an entrepreneur because they're so opposite of each other. But what's coming up for me is just this idea of like having an aligned business and like how much easier things flow and that belief flows when it is yours and your vision and your baby and you're following those steps to make sure that it feels aligned. It feels slightly less scary because then when you combine that with, well, everything's unfolding for my greatest good, success for me and B, really it's defined as like, or I should say what failure looks like for me and B is for me to hold on to this longer than I am supposed to.
Mhm.
That's what happened in my last entrepreneurial experience. I had the feelings come up. I remember asking myself, I'm like, dude, is like God just like testing us to see how much we want this? Or is this not ours to have? And I realize now, if it feels most aligned for me to make a decision that is like, all right, B has had her run and this no longer feels aligned, that to me is a very brave aligned decision versus I think sometimes entrepreneurs hold on to their businesses longer than they are meant to because we don't want to look like failures. But it is not a failure to choose to end your business and follow another more aligned path. Because ultimately, again, it's like you're the only one you spend your whole life with. No one's going to understand the depths upon which you are making that decision. And it's just important that the decision feels right and aligned to you. And I always, whenever I hear about an entrepreneur choosing to close their business, I always like send them good vibes. And if I know them personally, I send them a message just telling them how brave and awesome that they are for making that decision instead of just trying to choke along with stress and unalignment. So, mm,
And that allows you to then make decisions from a place of love rather than fear to bring it all back.
yes,
When you don't have that
yes,
attachment to like it has to work out no matter what, if the if the knowing is like life will work out no matter what
mhm,
without strangle holding a one particular
yes,
thing, you get to then exactly what I said, I'll just reiterate it. You get to make decisions from love rather than fear.
yes, yeah. And it's so, I always think that this happened when I was starting my coaching business as well as having that moment of like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What if it doesn't work out? Blah, 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 blah. And I always find it really helpful to be like, what am I actually scared about? And I think about like worst case scenarios. And it was like, my kids, I fail so horribly that my kids and I don't have a home. They're looking at me like I really went very deep with visualizing all of this absolute worst case scenario. And you know what I realized is that I would never let that happen because
Mhm.
in a worst case scenario, if my business venture fails, I would either go back to the beer industry or I would go work at McDonald's 50 bajillion hours a week. Like, do you know what I mean? So once I
Right.
realized it's like, oh, I'm really scared of this thing. And there's other way, like I wouldn't let that happen. So why wouldn't I take this opportunity since I have it to see what can unfold from it?
Mm. Ugh. Okay, I don't want to leave it, but we should wrap it up.
10-hour podcast.
I know. I truly, I've said it so many times, and I just like I would love to do 2 and 3 and 4 hour
Yes,
episodes
yes.
sometimes, but we're not doing that right this moment. So I would love for you to tell people how they can connect with you, what B is up to, what are the cool things that are coming up.
Yeah, yeah. So uh I love to describe B is that we are a whole building dedicated to making a vibrant life easier and more delicious so that you can have more energy and capacity to do the things that you love with the people that you love. And I have to say, even if you don't live in the Cincinnati area, if you do, definitely come visit. We are at 1 Wyoming Avenue, 45215. But please give us a follow on Instagram or on Facebook. We are Nourish at B on both of those. Our website is also nourish at B, all spelled out.com. But I really love on our social media, there's so many opportunities to connect and reflect. And yes, we post like the cool stuff we have going on, but a lot of our content just has to do with kind of these heartfelt situations and these heartfelt interactions. So if you're looking for some upliftment, definitely give us a follow. And again, if you're in the Cincinnati area, definitely come visit us. We are here And we do, everything from what Hannah was saying, like we do smoothies. We're known for our smoothies and smoothie bowls, but everything that we do here has a lens on clean ingredients and nutrient density. But we also believe that all foods are welcome. We like to have fun. Like we have boba, but we make all the syrups with organic cane syrup or cane sugar. We get sourced really clean 4 ingredient boba. But we have a prepared meal program that's been really great to just help, again, kind of take something off people's plates by putting something on their plate that is nutrient dense and delicious. So they have more energy and capacity. Of course, our second floor houses Kindred Flow Yoga Studios, which is a very much come exactly as you are. PJs are welcome, unbrushed hair, unbrushed teeth, whatever, just show up. And such a large variety of practices and practitioners up here. And then we also have the healing studios, which are filled with different healers and helpers to just help support you along your journey with. We're really experiencing an increased number of different wellness workshops and different perspectives. And, as always, too, B is truly a place where you can just come and be, no purchase necessary. So if you just need a place to soak in some good vibes, come sit with us.
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for sharing this time
Thank
with
you.
me.
Yes.
I love you and I miss you. And I'm just so glad. I'm so glad that B is it's thriving and you are glowing like truly.
Thank you. Yes, I know. I love you too so much and miss you. And like, I am so grateful for this opportunity because I don't know if I would have taken it otherwise to think back and reflect on these last 2 years and how good it feels to speak from a place, 2 years ago it was, this is what I'm thinking. This is like the vision. But now to speak 2 years in from a place of practice, I'm like, okay, cool. Look at where
Yeah.
we've come, and encouraging everyone to take some time too to just pause and reflect on your growth. Because regardless of if we're being intentional about it or not, growth is always happening and taking those little steps to live a more aligned life. Very, very important, friends. So take that time.
Mm. We will leave it right there. I love you so much. And thank
Love
you
you
so
too.
much for being with me.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening and be sure to like and subscribe. And again, if anything resonated with you from this episode, I would love to hear from you. Email me at Hannah, HANNAH, at expansiveceo.com and tell me about it. And if you're ready for your greatest expansion, you can find ways to work with me at expansiveceo.com and at x2wealthplanning.com. That's X, the numeral 2, wealthplanning.com. So until next time, remember that there is enough, you are enough, and your birthright in this lifetime is to be expansive.